Is this working? Can you guys see me? Somebody say hi if you can see me, because I'm struggling here. Hi, Pam. Can you hear me? Hi. Can you hear me? Okay. This has just been an adventure. I'm so sorry. I was fighting with everything. What a mess. Well, thanks for sticking with me. I'm so sorry. I've really just been fighting with everything, and I thought I had it all set up, and then my Wi-Fi cut out, and I just couldn't get it to start. It just kept saying it was loading, and nothing was happening. I'm I'm more petrified than I am excited. So this is completely out of my comfort zone. So hi, Planning with Lux. Hi, I'm really nervous. So bear with me. I also have like no makeup on because I was working out with my girlfriend earlier, and then I was what was I doing? And then I took a quick shower. So I'm like barefaced out here, just putting it all out there. So thanks guys for joining. I know there was a few people waiting. Let me see if more people are gonna come back. What a mess. But I'll keep going for those of us who stayed. For those of you who stayed, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I was just gonna talk about this. That's like a whole different person, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's like a whole different person. So that picture is actually from 2016. I did what's called a bikini show. It's not a bodybuilding show. I don't have enough muscle in that picture, but I did what's called a bikini show, where you keep more of your feminine roundness, as they call it, even though I'm very lean in that picture. Hi, Pam. I just started. I was just talking about this picture here. Hi, Fomsy. Hey, thanks for joining. So yeah, I was just talking about this picture here. This is from 2016. That's when I did my first show, and I actually did the best in that show. I've only done 2 shows. Hi, Will. I've only done 2 shows, but it's been, hey, no worries. I've been having technical difficulties, so I just literally got started. It was a mess. Don't mind my bare face here. um, yeah, I was talking about this here. This is from 2016. I was 39 in that show. Thank you, Will. I was 39 when I did my first show. I had seen a friend of mine do a show when I was 30, and I put it on my goal. I said, I'll do a show by the time I turn 40. And then the year I turned 39, I was like, oh, I got to get on this, right? So I went ahead and I did the works. I mean, I read an article online that said if you're not willing to put money into your fitness journey to enter a competition, then you had no business being in the competition. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to do this. I'll start with some basic stats for you guys so you kind of know where I'm coming from. I'm 163 centimeters, so I'm 5'3" and a half. I claim my half. And when I started, I think I weighed 132 pounds, and I forgot to figure out what that is in kilograms, but I weighed 132 pounds. And I started getting serious about it in December, and my first show was going to be May of the year I was turning 39. So I gave myself 6 months. And I have to be honest though, I was already like working out a lot, but mainly cardio. I used to call myself a cardio queen because I would do the dance classes and I trail run, I would treadmill run, you know, Zumba, that kind of stuff. But I wasn't necessarily doing weights. I hardly ever did weights. Um, and I got a trainer and I worked with someone for the whole 6 months. And by the time I did this particular show, I was 114 pounds. So I lost 18 pounds in 6 months. And I gained a pound of muscle. Um, I lost weight all over. I think I have like a 22, 23 inch waist. My hips went down to 36 inches from 40. I lost my boobs. That was the painful part. My boobs were like gone. That was sad. And you can't tell from this picture, but there's a lot of padding in that in that top. It really was like put in there to, you know, get my saggy tits up because they dropped when I lost all that fat off of them. And it's funny because everybody kind of warned me that was going to happen. They say, you know, when you lose the weight, the fat will come off wherever it's going to come off of, and apparently women's boobs. So that was that. Um, I don't remember what my body weight is. I'm gonna just put on a little bit of makeup, guys. I don't remember what my actual body weight was, body fat ratio was, but I think I came in around 11%, which for me would have been really like not that much. Um, uh, I mean, it wouldn't be that much for everybody, to be honest with you, but for me, I was pretty happy with that number. So, hi, Rowena, thanks for joining. Um, so yeah, so that's just the basic stats. I lost, to do my first show, I lost 18 pounds, and I gotta be honest, I pretty much gained it all back. Hi, Carmen. It took about a year before I gained most of the weight back. Really for the simple reason that I couldn't stick with the diet, and I'll go into that. But for me, the diet is like a commitment, and I have my daughter and my husband who live with me, and you know they all did the struggle diet with me, and so it was hard to cook for all of us. Let me put it like that. It was really hard to keep everybody happy. So I mean, I don't know, do you guys want to hear about the fitness routine, or do you want to hear about the diet first? Because I can go into both. Um, and then you guys can let me know what you think. All right, no one's putting in anything that I'm seeing. Um, so tell you what, I'll talk about the working out first, because that's what everybody thinks it is a bunch of working out. And it is, it's a lot of working out, but to be honest with you guys, the working out was easy compared to the diet. Maybe I just eat bad food. I don't know. But for me, the diet was much more difficult. So, okay. So I'll start with the working out then, because really the working out is what was more important before the diet became really, really important. So like I said, you guys might have missed it, but I was already working out, mainly cardio, not weights, and have been forever. I mean, I was a dancer all through high school and worked out all through college, all of that. But I wasn't like this toned. I was skinny, but I wasn't like that. So then really when I found my trainer, it was okay, let's start doing these other certain workouts. My trainer was very like old school. He was just like, we're gonna do the weights, we're gonna do heavy on the weights. And then much to my surprise, he was like, cut out the cardio. And I was like, well, but you know, I do cardio for my sanity. And I mean that seriously, because I don't, I work from home. I'm here all the time. Everybody's here with me now. God help me. But I'm home alone all the time. So for me, going out to the gym is really important because that's my happy hour and my social time, right? And I liked doing the classes because I got to interact with all the other people in the class. But he was like, "No, you're eating away." And he used a lot of lay terms with me. I think it was obvious to him that I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So he would say, like, you know, a cardio is just eating up all your muscle. So you've got to right now we have to focus on building muscle. So I would always do weights with him, and we would do either the machines or we would do the free weights. And we started off light so he could see what I could do, and then it got heavier and heavier. I mean, I could do, like with the Smith machine, when you're doing the squats, I was doing I think up to like 140 total, not each side, but like 140 pounds total squatting, which I'd never used the Smith machine before that, so that was a big deal for me. Um, and then we started out, I was working out with him once a week for the first maybe 3 months. And then for the last 3 months, we bumped it up to twice a week. And then he would give me regimented exercises, what to do for the other days that I was working out without him. So I was doing weights, resistance training 5 days a week. I was doing cardio. Like, I never, in the first 3 months, I cut my cardio down to 20 minutes, if that, on the days that I worked. So in the beginning, I had 2 rest days because for me, it was a lot because I was just learning how to do weights and that kind of resistance training. So I needed 2 rest days to kind of like recoup. We also at that point started cleaning up my diet. And he gave me, I tracked my macros. I used an app called MyFitnessPal, and I would track my macros. So that was how many carbs I was eating, protein, and of course fats. I think for me the most surprising thing about it was that he, like, if I did not eat my recommended amount of fats, he would get upset. You know, he said, fat is what helps you lose fat, which it didn't make any sense to me, but I guess he was right. And of course, I was eating the right kind of fats, you know, like avocado or oils, you know, like Mediterranean oils type of thing, and not just eating fats like going to McDonald's and picking out. Um, so I tracked my macros. So that was my carbs, my protein, and fats, and I had it at 35% protein, 35% uh, carbs, and 30% fats. So it was a lot of food, which is so counterintuitive, but it was a lot of food. Like I said, he was very, very old school. He wasn't like, let's do keto, let's do intermittent fasting, none of that. He was just like, you have to get up in the morning and eat within 30 minutes of waking up, and then you have to eat every 3 hours, the food in this particular ratio. I could, oh my gosh, I would literally set a timer to remind myself to eat. Because, you know, like, I work from home. I'm in my office right now. You guys can't see it, but over here is like a bunch of computers and stuff. Um, and so I kind of just get up to go and eat when I get hungry, if I get hungry. And that, you know, I was logging my food in the app, and he was like, you're not eating enough. You're not eating enough. Set a timer. And when that thing buzzes every 3 hours, you get up and you go eat. And it was a very restricted diet, which is why personally I cannot maintain it long term. But he had me on the diet where I would eat 6 ounces of protein, 4 ounces of carbs, um, and that would kind of work out to about let me see. I had to eat a minimum of my body weight in protein per day. That was the basic thing that he reminded me was like, listen, if you can eat at least 130 um, grams of protein a day, and then we worked it up from there. By the end, I was eating about 180, but that's when the carbs had gone way down. So the diet really starts off, you're eating 3 times a week. I mean, you're eating every 3 hours, which is basically 6 times a day. I was eating, the carbs were limited. I could have quinoa, brown rice, any kind of veggie carb I could have. Um, mm, yeah, it really just comes down to like brown rice and quinoa, which is why my family was like, no, we're done with this. Um, I'm not a vegetarian, although I've seen vegetarians enter shows and they do well. But I had to eat a lot of meat protein. Like I'm saying, he was very old school, and the old school folks just eat chicken, broiled chicken, boiled chicken, baked chicken, just lots of chicken. Even right now, I have a whole pot full of crock pot chicken because I actually kind of fell in love with that. Like I just throw the chicken in the crock pot and cook it in there until I can shred it, and then you put it in your salads. You put it in tortilla slice, your tortillas. You just add the chicken to everything. So I got into the habit of doing that too when I'm trying to up my protein. So that worked well. And then I could eat pretty much any vegetable that I wanted. I could eat any vegetable that I wanted. And then I had to limit my sugars. I had to limit whatever fruit I was eating. That actually was the most difficult thing for me because I'm a grape-aholic. If I go to the store and buy like a 2-pound bag of grapes, they'll be gone by tomorrow. That's my snack. I just eat grapes. And he like sat me down and he said, every grape is like a sugar cube. Do you realize that? I'm like, what? I don't know if that was true or not, but I couldn't. I was like, I cannot give up on my grapes. But anyway, so yeah, so he was very, yeah, I had to cut up my grapes. I could put all my fruit in like a smoothie. So, and I would put my fruit into a protein smoothie. So I could do that. And a lot of times what I found is that if I hadn't met my protein requirement for the day, I would just have a protein shake before bed. I wouldn't put any fruit in it. It would just be the powder and water, or soy milk or hazelnut milk, or a nut milk that I had a lot of, that had some kind of protein in it. I don't like animal milks, like cow milk and stuff like that. So I barely did that. But I would have one of those right before bed if I hadn't met my protein intake for the day, or I would just have 6 ounces of shredded chicken as my bedtime snack. It was great, fabulous. And then I also got to have, in the beginning, because this is like the first 3 months. This is before things got serious. I also got to have a cheat day, and by cheat day, it was 24 hours. So I would start at 6 p.m. on Friday, and I'm not gonna lie, for the first 3 months, when 6 p.m. on Friday came along, I ate. Yeah, that's right, Pam. Fruits have a lot of sugar, and because you think it's fruit, it's full of antioxidants, it's healthy, it's got nutrients, right? And you're just like eating them. And that's the way I was doing it. But once you start tracking your food, and the fitness app that I was using, my Fitness Pal, it breaks down the macros, but then it also tells you nutrition. So it will tell you how much salt you've had, how much potassium, how much sugar, all of this stuff. How many, it will break it down, and then it will say you've had sugar content for the day. You got to stop. And so once I was that aware of what I was eating every day, it really, really made a big difference. Hi, Pauline. Hey, lady. Thanks so much for joining. Hi. So this is like the first 3 months. Like I'm saying, the first 3 months that I worked out, I stuck to my diet probably 80% of the time, because then the weekend would come along and I would shift a little bit. And much to my surprise, my trainer would say that's actually pretty good because it kind of, it jolts your metabolism because your body gets so used to the regimented eating from Sunday to Friday. And then when you give it that shock of eating all the bad food, it kind of kickstarts your metabolism and gets it away from getting used to the new diet, which for some people can feel like a starvation diet. For me, eating every 3 hours was a lot. I could not. That was really, really difficult. It was a lot of food. 6 ounces of chicken is a lot of food. You don't. It didn't feel like it, but it really was, and I could not. It would take me an hour to eat my food. Oh, I guess I should say that the other thing that I was doing was measuring everything that I ate. There was no, oh, my fist is 4 ounces of chicken. No, it was taking out my scale. I specifically bought a scale that actually was a really fun kind of scale because it has something on there called TAR, TARE. So if you put a plate on it, and then it will weigh the plate, and then you'll hit the tar button and it will reset it'll take away the weight of the plate and reset itself back to zero, and then you can put your food on it. So you don't have to go, oh well, I just put 10 ounces of food on top of a plate that weighs 7 ounces, so blah, whatever. I didn't have to do any of those calculations, and I'm not good at American weights like ounces and stuff because I grew up in the metric system, so yeah, it was worth the extra to get that scale. To this day, I still try to measure my food because that really helps me just kind of regulate what I'm eating and so on. So that was another really helpful tool. Besides tracking everything that I ate, was weighing everything that I ate. And also reading nutrition labels, like even if I was going to pig out because it was my cheat day, my cheat 24 hours, I still had to log what I was eating. You know what I'm saying? So if we went to like a local sports bar on a Friday night and I ordered a burger, I would look at what their menu, the nutrition information was on the menu, and I would enter that into the system. So it's still like I would realize like, okay, over from my 24 hours, I would eat like 3,500 calories when typically I was eating so much less. So that really made me be aware of how much and what I was eating. So that tracking what you eat, that really made a huge difference for me. Tracking what I was eating, yeah. So anyway, so at that time, I'm still working out like 5 days a week, doing weights, learning how to use weights and different machines and so on. But and I was working out with my trainer once a week. Once we hit 3 months out, so that's when for a lot of people who do shows over and over, they do the 12-week prep diet. That's when things really like got real, like quick. But that's when I started to notice a lot of changes in my body. I think like the first 3 months, I lost like 4 pounds. It was nothing. Things fit different, my clothes fit different, but when I jumped on the scale, I was like, nothing's happening. I thought I was just gonna watch the weight roll off. And my trainer was like, no. Now it's the 12 weeks. Now we get better. And really, it's the last 6 weeks. It's the last 4 weeks. It's the last week that you will really drop the weight. So, okay, I trusted in him. Plus, I was paying him a boatload of money. So, okay, I'll take your advice. But you know what? I look like this based on his advice. And I don't know if you guys can see it here, but that's the trophy that I won my category that year. So guess the guy knew what he was talking about. Oh, Lord. My daughter's probably going to pop in at that door any minute now. So we'll see. Anyway, so then, yeah, so when we get down to the 12 weeks, that is like the actual prep for doing a show, we upped up my workouts with him. We started meeting twice a week, and it it was no missing. I mean, I had to go. Again, I enjoyed it. I like working out, so I didn't have a problem with that. It was fun to watch my body start to change. Um, I've always been slim, but to see, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it too. It was like a different kind of slim. Let me see. I had this picture that I took, but I think it's in my phone and I'm recording off my phone, so I don't know what I did with it. Um, oh yeah, here it is. So this is over here on the left is me when I was 19 years old and I weighed 114 pounds. The one here is where I'm 39 years old and I weigh 114 pounds. But if you look at my shoulders, I think if you look at my shoulders, I don't know if there's a reflection for you guys. That is when I was like, okay, my body changed. So that's why I'm saying is like I was always skinny. Well, not skinny, slim. But with the show, I really became defined. It was, yeah. So, yeah. And I feel like that happened like the last 3 months. So we would separate our training out. I'm going to go back to exercise and then I'll go back to diet. So we would separate our training out. We did different body parts. So abs every time I worked out, yeah. But then we would also do like shoulders and legs one day, and then we would do chest and chest, triceps, and biceps another day. And then I was meeting with him twice a week. So one day I would do shoulders and legs with him, and then the next time I met with him, I would do chest and arms, and then I would do on my own the same exercises. And then the fifth workout would be like a full body where we just hit each group. And then on top of that, I was still doing like the 20 minutes of cardio, and it was always like hit cardio. So I'm on the stepper, or I would trail run. I live 5 minutes outside of a mountain preserve, so I can literally walk outside of my house and I'm on the trails within 5 minutes. So I would do that up and down hills. Once a week for about an hour and a half, it depended. So the cardio started to ramp up a little bit once the 3 months hit. Again, it was still less cardio than I was used to doing because, like I said, I was a cardio queen. I would do, a Zumba class. I would do treadmill. I would do kickboxing. I would do step. I was doing, and I also took ballet classes. So I was probably doing like 5 hours of classes per week on top of also trail running. So really, really cut down on the cardio a lot. But again, I was noticing more changes to my body because I wasn't like just slim anymore. I had like actual muscle, which I'm really happy I've kept because that picture is from 4 years ago. So yay. When it came to the diet part of things, this is when I really had to clean things up, and also I had to cut out the booze. Now, I had minimized the booze because, you're tracking it, right? So even if you're having like a Michelob Ultra and it says 5 grams of carbs on the thing, that's still 5 grams of carbs I'm taking away from the 100 grams or the 120 grams of carbs I was doing. So, like all of that, you have to consider all of that when you're planning what you're going to eat for the day, or whatever. And a lot of times there was not a lot of planning on what I was going to eat for the day because I was meal prepping. I meal prepped twice, which is Sundays and Wednesdays. So I'd either bake all my chicken on Sunday and vegetables, or I would throw the chicken in the crock pot on a Wednesday. I also did a lot of turkey for my animal proteins. I also did a lot of turkey, a lot of ground turkey which I throw vegetables in there, and then that would be that for dinner. Not so much steak, cow meat. That one was, I hardly ever touched that. I didn't touch pork either. So it was a lot of, for the animal proteins, it was either chicken, turkey, and fish. A lot of fish. A lot of cod, which I hate with a passion. I could have salmon, but I had to be careful with the salmon because salmon has a high fat content, and I started off at 30 grams of fat and then it went down. So for fat, I would have, besides the oils, there was also my nuts. Avocado and nuts were my main like fat sources. The salmon, but if I had salmon, then I would cut out the nuts and like that. So it's always like a balance. And as you're tracking it in your app, you're like, oh, I just had salmon, 4 ounces of salmon. I'm done with fats for the day or whatever it was. I hate milk, but I love cheese, and that was the other thing. Grapes and cheese were my downfall. I'm not even gonna lie. It's like I've never met a cheese I didn't love. I just haven't. The stinkier, the better. Give me some cheese. And so but I had to watch that because cheese is good with protein. It has a lot of protein, but cheese has a lot of fat. So I had to be really careful if I was gonna do the cheese, and watch that. And towards the end, I had to cut out the cheese completely, which really hurt me. Also for fats, I did like the almond butters. I don't eat peanut butter, so I never did that. But that snack. Talking about food makes me hungry. Me too. It's my dinner time. Oh my gosh, me too. Yeah, see, gone. Lost my track. Oh yeah, the almond butters. So I would do like an apple and I'd dip it in almond butter instead of peanut butter. I can't do like you see fitness people doing shows will literally like walk around with a container of peanut butter and just like eat straight out of, yeah, no. I couldn't do that. But yeah, so that was the fats and the oils. I'm like, bring it back, bring it back. And then still kept going with the carbs, still kept, mainly, like I said, rice, brown rice, definitely brown rice. I know some people start with white rice and then transition to brown rice. I just couldn't, once I went brown rice years ago, I never buy, it's very rare I buy white rice, so that wasn't an issue. And then kept with the quinoa. Oh, the other carb I forgot to mention was oatmeal for breakfast. Oatmeal for breakfast. But then if I had oatmeal for breakfast, I would either add Greek yogurt to it so I could have protein there, or I would add almond butter to it so that I would add my fats and my protein. Or sometimes if I was short on my protein for the day or had not had enough protein the day before or whatever, if I was mixing it up, I would put my protein powder straight into the oatmeal. Like, let's get this. Actually, Pam, almond butter isn't that hard to find. I mean, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, my regular grocery store, like our version down here where I live of Kroger has it. It's ridiculously expensive. That's the part I don't understand. Like I've bought almond butter for like $15 and thought maybe I should just buy some nuts and go pound them up or something. I don't know. Maybe I need to learn how to make my own almond butter. But I can't believe how expensive it is sometimes. But nutritionally, it was worth it. So hey, did that. But I think I kind of want to touch also on how expensive it is to do a show, because I saw my trainer for 6 months. I started off once a week and then we upped it to twice a week. When it was time to do the actual show, like when we went to the theater and did the whole thing, not only did I have to pay the fees to enter, but I had to pay his pass as well, because it wasn't like he had a group of people that he was working with. It was just me and him. A lot of people find a group to work out with, and then they'll put in money to get the trainer his pass. But it was just me, so I just paid his pass as well. I've done 2 shows, and it also depends on how many categories in a show you're entering. But just to enter a show, you're looking at about 150 to 200 plus dollars, because it'll be 150 to enter and 75 per category. And then so the more categories you enter, it just adds up. And then this was a custom suit that I had made. You can go online and buy these for relatively cheap. Well, not cheap, but you know, for about $100 or so. But since I was like lifetime goal, only doing this once, which was a lie, I wanted to, you know, invest in it. And so this, which was custom made, I had a fitting, I had a consultation to begin with, and I had a fitting 2 weeks before the show. And then they were actually at my show and pinned me into it. I don't know if you guys can see, but the bottom was a little loose because I actually lost more weight than I thought I was gonna lose. Like 2 weeks, I think between 2 weeks and the actual final show, I lost like an additional 6 pounds. So they pinned it as best as they could, but I really lost a lot of weight the last 2 weeks, and I'll get into that in a bit. And then all these pieces here, like all of this here, I got to choose all of these. These are like rhinestones where they put them in, like single pinning them on, I mean gluing them on, whatever. I got to choose the pattern this was going to be laid out. I got to choose the color. I got to choose the amount of padding in the suit, everything. I literally sat down with them and chose everything. So this particular suit, I think I paid $400. I have another one. I have a red one as well that I got made, which I haven't used yet. That one also was probably in the same range. But one of the things when you're in a show, when you see your scores afterwards, they look at the suit. That is part of your score. So, and I've seen people do really well, you know, who were missing in other areas and, you know, needed work in other areas, but had really good suits and score better. So it's for me, the suit was definitely worth the investment. But between the trainer, the suit, buying supplements and protein powders, and you know, God knows what, because that's the other thing, you got to do all these supplements. Between all of that, the shows, the hair, the makeup, the posing classes, because I took posing classes as well. Those 6-inch, 7-inch stripper heels, I had to learn how to walk in that. But all of that stuff, by the time I was done with my first show, I want to say I spent about $5,000. Yeah. I didn't win any cash. I didn't get any money back. It was gone. It was, hey, I have this picture. There you go. I mean, I have a framed one as well. And I got my trophy. And I probably looked like that for a year afterwards, and then I gained the weight back. But it was fun. It was great. I have no regrets. I have absolutely no regrets. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I spent the money. I did it. I did a second show as well. So, the second show was a little different for me because I thought I knew it all, and then I didn't stick to things as well as I should have. I still medaled, but I didn't win. And I'll show you guys. I'm just trying to find a picture here. I still looked good, but I didn't look as good as the first show. So let me find a picture and then I'll show you guys. Hopefully you can see it. This is me in 2018. So this is the second show that I did. It's the same suit, although I jazzed it up a little bit, and they added more rhinestones, and they changed the back of the suit. Okay, there's a lot of booty in this next one, so if you don't like booty, look away. But I wanted to show how this suit is different. That's called a T-back. So, so they changed that for me. I wasn't as lean, I wasn't as cut. I didn't stick to the diet as much. The working out part, I excelled. I did even more of that. Thanks, Pam. I thought I looked great, but I did not. I could have looked better. You know when you've looked better. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I look great, but I've looked better. It kind of felt like that. Um, but something happened a couple weeks before the show, and I was not in the right head place as well. Because the last 2 weeks before the show is when you cut out everything. It was really sexy. I think my husband was just like, what the hell is this woman doing now? It was nasty. I'll be the first to admit it. It was bad. um, but 6 pounds in like 10 days. It was ridiculous. I really leaned out. My and when I did the show 2 years ago, that last 2 weeks, I wasn't in the right headset, and I cheated a little bit. And it's funny because that's what everybody says. On show night, you can tell who cheated on the diet, and unfortunately, I was one of those people. But hey, it was great. I still had fun. Oh, here, let me show this one. This is the first. Damn light. This is the first year where you can see my abs better. I had like for real abs. It was great. Um, and then I'll show you guys my shoes. So that's why I said like stripper shoes, literally stripper shoes. Um, yeah, let's see. What else can I think of? Let's see, I'm trying to find some more pictures. But it was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. This is the first show again. I think my shoulders were bomb, really. I was quite happy with my shoulders. I still am. And I'll show more, a couple pictures from this year. From so you can see there's a lot of booty there. So you can see that I didn't drop as much weight. So that's all right. Anyway, I'm like sharing all of this stuff. Like I was like, okay, fine. I'll do my first live, and I'll talk about doing the show because my girlfriend and I have decided that we are going to do a show this year. Yeah. We were gonna do a show last year. We were working towards it, but then I had a medical situation and I couldn't do it. Ended up having to not do the show, and then I was exercising, but it wasn't the same. I couldn't. The weight wouldn't budge, and my doctor had said to me, "Your body's been through a trauma. You can't. I know you like to work out and everything, but you gotta take it easy." And then we were gonna do a show earlier this year, but COVID showed up, so we haven't. And then my friend and I have both been stress eating, so we kind of started to gain the weight again. And I'm gonna show her, although I'm sure she's not. No, her name keeps popping up. So you can see, this is a couple years ago. You can see that she kept her diet better than I did. I mean, I think she's 53 in this picture. I mean, she's 10 years older than me, and she looks fabulous. She's really good. So we're working out together again. We work out from home. Sometimes I was going to her house, but there's a lot, there's COVID stuff, not so much. So we do Zoom workouts at home, and I have a TRX. I have some light weights. Oh yeah, she looks very awesome. She's in great shape. But we have a TRX, and I have some light weights. So because I don't have heavy weights, or we're using our body weight to work out in. So what we're doing now, instead of just the typical 3 sets of 12 or 3 sets of 15, everything is a set of 20. So we're maintaining our muscle by doing more reps since we're using less weight. Um, Also, really, we just decided to wanted to do a show because we're both suffering with trying to keep our diet in check. Because we had been prepping for a show, which we would have done in March, I had actually dropped to like 125 pounds when COVID hit. Well, no, I think I might have weighed a little less than that. The show was gonna be, um, the show was gonna be March or April. I think in February when things started shutting down. Hi, Bev. Hi. I had dropped down to like 125 pounds. And then the stress of COVID hit, not being able to go to the gym. I work from home. My husband started working from home. My kid got kicked out of school. Um, Pam. I love that. Um, um, and, just being at home. And I started drinking and just the stress of being at home, eating, not eating the way I was used to eating, and I put on 10 pounds. I just like in a space of like 3 weeks, I woke up and I was like, oh my god. And one thing I do is that I don't believe in buying bigger clothes. I know, I'm sorry, that sounds extremely vain or whatever, but I just don't. I don't buy bigger clothes. Once my clothes don't fit, that's when I know it's time to rein it back in. Um, Keeps finding me. I know. That's so funny, fam. Yeah, so I think really what got me out of my COVID food coma was because my yoga pants stopped fitting. I was like, no, we need to do something about that. Um, so I've come back down. I'm going back and I go back and forth between 130 and 132 right now. Um, and then we figured if we do a show in November, she wanted to do one in August. I was like, that's like a month and a half from now. I'm not gonna drop 20 pounds in the next 6 weeks. I'm just not. Um, but we set our goal for November. So I want to do like fitness videos, but I'm not that person. Like we're the girls who make fun of the fitness girls at the gym. Those people who are like taking videos of themselves working out or not working out, just taking videos of themselves and saying, I made it to the gym. Yeah, we make fun of those people. So as much as I want to do like fitness stuff on this channel, I just don't have that kind of mindset. When I was going to the gym, I roll up, I work out, I leave. This is one of my workout tops. This is actually like the cute one. Typically, I'm just like in an old man's shirt and a pair of tights and I work out. I'm sweaty. I don't look cute, whatever. So I don't know. I want to add fitness stuff to this channel, but it's just, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I have a fitness IG page, but even on there, once all of this stuff hit, I stopped putting those pictures up. But I'll share that link eventually, and I'm going to use it to start tracking my progress. So that will hopefully keep me on track. That was the other thing that we did a lot of. I had to take pictures of myself every day for my trainer. Uh, just it really just helped me see how I was doing. It helped him see how I was doing. And he was so in tune with my body that he would say to me, you had sushi last night, didn't you? Because I would have sushi and soy sauce and the sodium, and my stomach would just bloop, and I would look 4 months pregnant like this. Even now, if I have sushi for dinner tomorrow, I will look 4 months pregnant. I don't know what happens. If I have too much sodium, I immediately get a distended belly. It's not cute. But he would see my pictures every single day and he would say he could see how I was doing. In the first 3 months, he looked at them, but he didn't really look at them. The last 3 months and then down to like the last 3 weeks, he was really like, what did you eat? What is this? What is that? What's going on? He knew what was going in and out of my body. the second show that I did, um, I followed a different diet. It was more about how much the food weighed and not what I was eating. It was different, and I'll go into that another time. It's I gotta try to wrap things up in a little bit. So, so yeah, I'll go into that another time. So I'm actually like going back and forth now that I'm going to do a new show and trying to figure out what, should I go back to what I did the first time because that worked so well? Uh, or should I do what I did the second time, but actually get my mind in the right headspace this time? I think because I was working out with my friend in the picture I just showed you guys, and you can see that the diet worked. I mean, she came in, she's a little bit taller than me, and she came in like 3 pounds less than I did. I came in at like 117, 118, and my goal had been to come in at 115. And it was that last week, that last 2 weeks, the first time around, I lost 6 pounds like this. The second time around, I only lost three. And again, it was really like I was not as strict with the diet as I could have been. I couldn't just do the asparagus. I just couldn't. And I was just distracted. So, whatever. But anyway, so this time around, I think I'm gonna go back more to what I did the first time. And I still have all of those notes on what I ate and everything. So I'll definitely just like follow that because I think it might have worked a little better. So yeah, sorry. I do want to just, before I like wrap this all up, I want to say that if anyone wants to do a show, it really starts up here. Because I can tell you, at 30, when I saw one of my one of my husband's friends do a show, a guy, he looked so good. Oh my God, he looked so good. He looked so good. I was like, I'm gonna do that. I want to look that good. Hey, hi, lady. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Doesn't matter how late you joined. Thanks. Um, um, but yeah, so I saw him and he did the show, and then hi, hi. And then I told myself I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And I was working out on my own and doing all this stuff on my own. But clearly, I didn't know what I was doing because I was doing cardio and not weights. Um, but it literally took me until I was 38 from seeing him and saying I want to do a show at 30. It literally took until I was 38 to go, oh, I want to, let me do this show. In the interim, I did, make a human. So yeah, that's my excuse. And then once I turned 38, I was like, I'm gonna do this. I want to do this before I turn. That was my goal. I'm gonna do a show before I turn 40, and then I realized 40 was coming. But once I made that decision, like I'm doing this, then it all fell into place. Which is why I feel like the second time around, once I kind of fell out of the mindset in the last 3 weeks, then it was a detriment to me. Um, but once I made the decision, then everything changed. And I feel like it's like that in life in general. Like once you make a decision that this is what you're doing, then everything changes. And just my life in general. Once I said to my parents, I'm going to the U.S. for school, then everything fell into place, and here I am 20 something years later. So hey. But yeah, so if anyone is ever thinking like I want to do the show, make the decision and then find a show. There's different kinds of shows. There's if you look them up, every region has their own. Most people know IFBB and what's the other big one? Ugh, it just went out of my head. But there's other like smaller shows that you can do as well. And for me, my first show was a small show. It was, which is good and bad. But it was a really small show. And so but it gave me that boost right out the gate that, hey, I can do this. I could do this again. So that was a good thing. I think if I'd done like a big show like IFBB, like you see these shows in Vegas and there's like 30 people on the stage, and I would not have been able to. I would have done it, but I probably wouldn't have done as well. So I think my first show there was only 7 or 8 people on the stage, so less competition. Uh, I think in general. And then there's shows where are you going to be drug tested? You know, they're all drug free, but some of them are more like, no, we're really drug free. We're going to test you. Um, and then and then it's like, do you want to do the pro circuit? And then you have to qualify to be able to do the pro circuit. And so then that's when all the different categories start coming in. So because I won my first show I entered, I can the first time I entered as a novice, which means you've never done this before. But once I won that first show, I can never enter again as a novice because you've medaled. So when I did it again in 2018, I had to enter a show that if I'd won would have allowed me to be a pro qualifier. And then once you enter a pro qualifier show, that's when you start making money if you win. um, and then again, that's the level of the competitions that you see on TV, and those people, you know, they don't have it's their life, you know. I have a kid at home. I have an 11-year-old at home. Thanks, Will. Have a good night. Oh, sad. I'll be working out at home. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. Yeah. Well, my gyms are closed, so I can't even work out at the gym. But yeah, I'm gonna try. Maybe I'll record our Zoom meetings with Renee if she gives me permission. So yeah, I will try to do more fitness stuff because I know people are interested. And I also just want to, I think it'll help keep me accountable for the show in November. I already have my suit. The ladies who made the blue suit were having a sale. And I went and I said, you know what, I'm just going to buy a suit. Even if I don't do a show now, I'll eventually do a show. And they were great. I got a suit. It's half finished because they finish it right before your show. So I'll call them up probably in like October and let them know I'm doing a show, and they'll finish it up for me. If you follow me on Instagram, I think I've put the suit on there, but I'll put it again after tonight. It's like a red one, so it's a really fun piece. So yeah, I know I just like rambled on for the last hour. I hope you guys found this helpful. I mean, I can do another one like this and really like go into detail with the diet and show you guys the diets that I followed, my spreadsheets and so on, if that would be helpful. But I think the problem with the diet is that for me, I don't follow that in my regular life. So I don't think, unless you're planning on doing a show or something like that, I don't think it's a good idea to just follow the diet. But if you're interested in doing a show, then the diet's really good. And I guess I just look at it from, hey, okay, yeah, the diet is helpful, but I don't know if it's sustainable. It wasn't for me. Let me put it like that. Maybe you guys are better. So hey, okay, fine. We'll do the diet. Definitely we can do the diets. It's different diets. So you can look up like bikini prep fitness diet and see. They're typically the same for most people. Okay, cool. Did you guys have like any other questions before I like wrap this up? I can hear my husband cooking, so who knows what he's doing. I shouldn't say that, should I? No. So, all right, cool. Well, you know what? Thank you guys for watching because I was so nervous and I'm so sorry I started so late. It just kept saying loading, loading, loading. I'm like, what is going on? So I'll definitely do another one, and I'll go more into the diet, and then I'll show maybe pictures more of the exercise stuff. I'll put a link to my fitness IG, and then because I'm gonna start posting the daily pictures just to see how things are going. It's kind of hard to see a change in the beginning, especially because right now I'm in the process of cleaning up my diet. I'm not there yet. I think I'm following my diet 50% of the time, but it will get better. I'll also share the names of the apps that I use to track what I'm eating and also to track my exercise, because yeah, it really keeps you accountable. I also think working out with someone also really kept me accountable, and just the amount of yeah, once you start putting the money into it, you really notice a difference. But that's like working out with any trainer, right? Whether you're doing a show or not. If you're paying someone to work out with them, you're more likely to show up. Or if you have a workout buddy, you're more likely to show up. So that working out with my first trainer and then working out with my second trainer, that made a huge difference for me, I think. So yeah. I keep saying I'm missing my abs because they're underneath the barrel right now, but it's just like, I think my triceps are still there, biceps are still there, and just gotta work on the rest of it. So wish me luck, guys, because I really do want to do a show in November. I hope COVID is gone by then, because that might still be there. So all right, thanks guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you. Bye. Okay, how do I say stop? Blue. Oh, bye. 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 Thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Bye, Bev.